Hey everybody, AC here, and welcome back to another episode of Marvel Spider-Man for the PS4. Man, it's been a while since we've gone to this. It's been like a month and a half. I am going to be doing the DLC. Last time, we finished off the main story, got 100%. This time, we're going to start the DLC campaign with Part 1, The Heist. So let's just jump right into
Mary
it.
Jane Watson, Associate Editor. Begin research notes. My sources are saying the Magia is mounting a comeback. The old crime families were all but wiped out, until Fisk went away and they started filling the void. The old Dons were working harmoniously for years, but now that there's a power vacuum, there's bound to be a power struggle. It's only a matter of time before one of the families makes a move on the others. Better follow up with my sources in the Force. Hopefully we can stop this crime comeback before it even starts.
Hey Pete, I'm working on a story you might be interested in.
The Oscorp expose?
Oh, hang on. Hold on, folks. Yolo? Hey. Hey, what's up? Yep. I'm actually in the middle of streaming.
Yeah, I saw that. That's how I knew you were playing.
The mom? I thought they were... I was swinging it. Both times.
What mission you on?
But with Fisk and the demons gone,
I actually just started the heist. I'm doing my let's play on YouTube, and I'm just now starting the heist DLC.
one of the Dons
Yeah.
lost
I took a break from the game for a while because I had another let's play in December that I wanted to do, so that had to take priority.
one of the families is planning to
Cool.
steal her back tonight.
Sounds like there's more to it than just art appreciation. I'll swing by the museum.
The moment when you've been using something in the game for about 20 minutes and it just now decides to give you the tutorial.
I think you just described half of the PlayStation 3 lineup right there. Because the
Pretty much
PlayStation
every
3 had a
Assassin's
ton of
Creed
games
game.
that were guilty of that.
It's like, oh, you figured out how to heal? Here's the tutorial on healing. Where was this 20 minutes ago when I was dying?
The game couldn't be bothered. It was on its lunch break. The tutorial person was on their lunch break. They couldn't be bothered.
I mean, the PS2 tutorial person was Samuel L. Jackson, so that's understandable. He just wanted to have me on the plane without dealing with all the snakes.
There's a small army of goons trying to break in. Stay on the line while I take a closer look.
Just be careful. If those guys are Magia, they play for keeps.
Oh, I love it. Hanging. Quality Assassin's Creed dialogue there. Oh yes, I just love a good hanging.
Paying full price admission. These guys have to learn to appreciate art during business hours.
Dang it. Okay, there we go.
And knock him out. I love how in like the first game when they explain Eagle Vision, it's like, oh, that's just something that the Animus will let you do. And then as of Assassin's Creed 2, it's like, oh no, this is always the thing that Assassins have been able to do since ancient times. And they just
in the first game they explicitly said that that the assassins from back then could do it, and the Animus is just allowing you to recreate what they think it was like.
Meanwhile, being 100% accurate.
Well, I
but
mean,
here's the thing: Desmond should have been able to do that. They are the
Templars, and the assassins are their natural enemy. After all, I imagine they've probably done their research.
But here's the thing: several Templars were assassins, which makes that make less sense. That how do they not know?
Well, maybe they do know. Or maybe they do know. I mean, if they got it completely accurate, then they have to have good. They have to have like really good sources to be able to tell them that they're getting it right.
Yet they didn't have enough sources to, do the job of the Animus for them. When easily they could have found Altair's Apple of Eden. It's not the one from Assassin's Creed 2. They could have easily found it. It looks like it was still in the friggin' Masyaf temple with them. How do they not know where Altair was? You'd think with enough people of Desmond and other people's bloodlines connected to Altair and Ezio, someone would have found it.
Well, here's the thing.
There's so many plot holes in these games.
Here's the thing. It's a secret organization of assassins that have existed throughout all of history. I'm pretty sure they know how to stay hidden, so no one with any technology will ever be able to find them.
Yes,
and besides,
but they had
we're dealing
DNA.
with magic in half the games, dude. You really think you can explain magic away with logic?
People have been trying to do that for years to varying levels of success.
To failure. It's never worked. You can't explain magic. Magic is a wild card that just basically says fuck you to all logic.
It depends on the world and whether or not you're trying to be Thor.
Well, even when you're trying to be Thor, there are some things in Thor that just don't make sense, that just don't make logical sense, and you can only chalk it up to magic. That's it. That's all there is to it.
Wait, nope. No one got in through here.
I was gonna say, most of my logic that I make for these games, because they're not gonna make it themselves.
MJ, someone cut a hole in a
Well, because we're dealing with a giant assassin cult and magical artifacts and machines that can make your brain travel through time. You're gonna have to suspend your sense of disbelief.
Well, there's suspending disbelief, and then there's also using something that the game brings up itself numerous times. The fact that, Clay, they used him to go into Ezio and others for decades, where he started hiding stuff. They should have, at some point, figured, hey, maybe it's not the Renaissance. Maybe we should look further into his life.
Maybe check the security booth at the entrance. There should be cameras Templars there too. They would have seen whoever broke in.
But no. I mean, it's one thing for the guards to suck. It's another thing entirely for the actual Templars to be this bad when they've been fighting the assassins for a few hundred, if not thousand, years.
Have you ever stopped to consider that maybe that's the reason why they haven't found them is because they are idiots?
If you can't find the guards,
Meanwhile, they're still winning the friggin' war. How the frig does that work?
Good idea.
always happy to.
They're persistent idiots. Look, dude, I don't know how much more simple I can make this for you. There's,
You're trying to simplify things to a theorist.
yeah, and you're theorizing about a series that is about that's about as consistent as the Kingdom Hearts timeline and the FNAF timeline combined.
Isn't that like, aren't there like 5 different iterations of the freaking Kingdom Hearts timeline now?
Part of one. Looks like I'll need more.
No, it's one timeline, but it's one timeline, but if you think cohesive is a word in that timeline, oh boy.
It probably goes right next to Darkness
Trained guards wouldn't leave their stuff around.
in terms of, I don't think you understand what this word means.
Oh no, cohesive is not even in the top. Is not even in the Kingdom Hearts dictionary. It's just not. It. Ugh.
That's so say you should be able to get up in here.
I know there's
Let's also remember that the assassins are supposed to be very like exclusive and everything. Like only certain people are allowed in. And yet we have Hazem Kenway, a pirate who killed another assassin, even if he was turned into the Templars. And
Okay.
they're just like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's do this. We can
Hey.
train you. I don't give
Hey,
a fuck.
here's the thing. After Ezio died, after those games were done, they stopped giving a shit about history and creating a clear story, and they started just doing whatever the hell they wanted for each game. Like there was no story after Ezio died. When he died, the story died with him.
I mean, 3 was supposed to have a story, but then they took the guys who had made those stories, and they just got rid of them from the writing staff.
If I bypass the optic sensor, I can upload my own data.
Don't mind me, I'm just murdering the entire Spanish Inquisition.
Handprint now.
I mean, pretty much, that's how it feels. Oh shit, cover! Have fun shooting me from there, tough guy. You gotta come
Assassin's
around
Creed
the
is
way.
not a series I particularly care for.
We're in.
Nice. What do you see?
They're alive. Looks like they were tranquil.
Like I stopped caring after the Ezio collection. Like after those games, I stopped playing completely.
Let me check.
I mean, 3 was alright in terms of story until they got to the end.
Someone switched off camera 5.
Well, that's suspicious.
Let me turn it back on and see what they didn't want anyone looking at. It's pointing at one of the paintings in the exhibit.
That has to be the Maria.
And even then, like,
I need to see this
the story wasn't really just gone until, I want to say until actually Syndicate, because you had to read all the comics to understand what was going on in that shit.
The Maria is a brilliant example of modern pastoral impressionism. The saga
And even then, you want to know how they killed the main antagonist? Not the Templars, no, the actual, like,
painting of me.
big world-ending boss character.
More valuable stuff in that museum.
You want to know how they killed them off?
She's so worked up about this.
I don't care,
Hang on, MJ.
but I have a feeling you're gonna tell me anyway.
They killed them off in a goddamn comic. Very anticlimactic after, you know, it's literally a god they are fighting.
Keep an eye out.
Like,
Spider-Man can still beat.
yeah. It's just,
Damn it. Got
And then, Odyssey was like, okay, you know what? Let's just screw with this more. And dear God, it didn't work. It was horrible. Trying to turn them into a legitimate RPG,
Warhead's guys called in reinforcements.
like where you make actual choices for how the plot proceeds and things, is absolutely stupid. Unity did it right by not having a set path for assassinations, of forcing you to think on your own. That was it. That was an upgrade from the previous ones, where you had a pretty linear set of a single way you were supposed to take them out. Otherwise, you took 3 hours longer, and the mission did not approve of it, and you end up with that horrible sync rate. But then they immediately just went and shit the bed with how Syndicate's gameplay was handled. At least Unity had some competence to it. I said some, not a lot. Not much, but it was still there. Now, it sounds like I hate Assassin's Creed. That's entirely wrong. This is one of my favorite game series of all time. In fact, for the Brony fanfic site that I use for stuff, like even when I writ stuff too, the name was Ezio the Assassin. And my first one, I tried making it like a frickin' hodgepodge between 5 different Assassin's Creed fanfics I'd seen on there. But the problem with Assassin's Creed is that the way they were building the story, 3 shit the bed in the last 5 minutes, and they haven't been able to recover because they keep going back to the past. The story we were pretty much promised going forward was that it would be a modern day Assassin. We'd have at least one game based entirely in modern day. That has yet to occur. I mean, hell, with the latest version, the player character is now going to be Loki himself.
I haven't even been listening.
I don't doubt it.
Again, like I've already said before, I don't care about Assassin's Creed. I don't.
Yeah. I mean, I hate what it's become, but it's still one of my favorite game franchises of all time. And this one, EA didn't even ruin. Like, EA came on late, so they couldn't ruin Dragon Age Origins, which was probably probably the strongest entry in the Dragon Age series thus far. And then their fingerprints were all over 2 and Inquisition. Inquisition was BioWare trying to wrestle some control back, and it worked pretty well. Not well enough to save it from a lot of instances feeling stupid, convoluted, just outright just tired. Yeah. I just knocked a guy out into the Havana Harbor. Okay.
Alright, well, let me know when you want to talk about something other than Assassin's Creed, because I'm bored of this conversation.
You ready for
Anything.
WandaVision?
What?
You hyped for WandaVision?
WandaVision, not so much. I mean, I'm curious, but I'm not hyped.
I think it's going to be pretty interesting, because it looks like it's kind of taking off from the House of M storyline.
I don't know enough about that storyline to really comment.
Oh, part of it was
hold on,
Wanda using her powers.
Hold on. Shh. Best character in the game just showed up.
Oh, Black Cat?
Oh my god, I love Black Cat. This suit is amazing. I love her suit in this. It's so cool.
Solo now?
It's better than anyone Catwoman's ever gotten in anything.
I hear that's bad for cats.
I mean, I like the black leather with the white fur. I like that. That's real. I think that's really iconic and really hot. But this suit is really cool too. I like the way this one looks. It's very
I do like the fact
it's very modern.
Actually, I can't say anything because some of your audience might be seeing this as their first time through the heist. As I wanted to say a spoiler thing, but that's
hey, here's your warning. Here's your warning now, folks. Spoilers. Okay, go ahead.
I do love the fact that how Black Cat's dad is just sitting there, kind of using Peter to not only get all of his old shit back, but then also just ends it off with, "You better treat my girl right, or I'm coming after your ass." It's like, okay, this was not needed or asked for, but it is very much appreciated to have one person in anything related to Marvel that doesn't have actual daddy issues, whether it be a lack of father, or is it like she actually just embraced her own life, and then her dad's just like, okay, do whatever you want, man. I don't give two shits. Meanwhile, Stark had to constantly vie for the attention and admiration of his father, which he barely ever got. Among other things. Oh, and also, interesting
He got
fact,
it in Endgame, kind of.
No,
even if his dad didn't realize it was him.
No, Mr. Potts got it, but Tony himself, like, Tony worked out a lot of his problems with his, but, also...
Well, he got what he needed. He got what he needed. His dad didn't know who he really was, but he did get what he needed.
Yeah, he got the closure he wanted, just not in a way that was technically real, because that was another universe.
Well, it was still real. It was still real. It wasn't the best closure he could have gotten. The best closure he could have gotten, but it was still really good closure. Like, instead of an A+ closure, it was a A- closure, but still incredibly good. It was still him at the end of the day. His father just didn't realize it.
Yeah. Oh, and also, interesting fact, Tony's adopted.
Peter, is everything okay?
Sorry, MJ, I just ran into an old friend.
Who?
Trouble.
Yeah. So Howard's real son's name was Andros, and his brain was, when he was born, was so...
I know that's a whole comic thing.
Fuck.
Okay, dude, I'm gonna tell you right now, you're wasting your comic knowledge on me, because the only comics I ever read as a kid were Teen Titans. And a few Spider-Man comics here and there. That's it. Teen Titans! Oh my god. I loved Teen Titans, and I loved Teen Titans, and I loved Spider-Man. Those were really the only comics I ever read growing up. That's it. So, you're wasting your comic book knowledge on me. You're wasting your comic book knowledge on me because it doesn't really matter, because I never had any interest in anything that wasn't Spider-Man or Teen Titans. That's all I was interested in. I did not care about any other hero, DC or Marvel.
All units, we have reports of an explosion in the vicinity of Times Square and Bryant.
Explosion? Better check
I tried
Well,
to
actually,
end the game.
when I entered middle school, I started reading a few Power Girl comics simply because I thought it was hilarious how she was kind of like Deadpool, but she was kind of like Deadpool with how she often broke the fourth wall. But the way she did it was she would call out her artists for drawing her in lewd positions.
I'm surprised
She
that
would call her artist
especially
out and just call her
Glenpool never
artist
did that.
a massive pervert for doing that. And I always thought that was
God damn it, Jimmy,
hilarious.
not again.
I always thought that was hilarious. It's like I came there for the comedy of that, but also not gonna lie, the fan service
The
was also
boobs.
very nice. And you know, I was a I was a teenage
so-
boy at the time, so the only thing on my mind at the time was boobies.
Yes, puberty.
Yeah.
I can hear an echo in my voice, and it's not appreciated.
Spider-Bot's active. Should be tracking the other bombs. Got one.
Oh, the Spider-Bot missions! I love these. These are actually really fun.
Oh,
The Spider-Bot missions where you're disarming bombs. Oh, I love these. These are actually, like, legitimately fun.
Got it. Now for the last one. Whew, got them all.
Nice. Those are really fun. I really like the
Around the city.
I really like the Spider-Bot missions. Okay, so I don't have anything.
Hello?
Spider-Man, this is Detective Mackey. I got
Yeah! My favorite side quest in the first DLC pack.
Can you stop by the Greenwich precinct when you get a chance? I hear you like meeting on rooftops.
Sure thing. See you in a few. This'll keep me busy while I wait to hear from MJ. That museum heist was crazy. It's not Black Cat's style to work with guys like Hammerhead. Hope MJ can find out the story behind that data drive.
Woo! Woo!
As you've probably heard, Spider-Man stopped the crime boss Hammerhead's thugs from robbing the Museum of Contemporary Art. Good for him, right? Wrong! They nearly demolished the place and everything in it! They were shooting rocket launchers indoors! Good intentions? Which I do not! This is the problem with Spider-Man. He escalates every situation into an apocalyptic disaster! What good is he seeing? From being stolen if you blow it up! Now, I realize this is pretentious named basic modern art. Soup cans and ink splatters that look like they were splashed on by a drunk elephant. But I'm not an art critic.
oh, dude. So you know what is Power Girl's real name?
Isn't she just Kara as an adult from like a different dimension or something?
No, that in of itself is an entirely different Earth. That's not the like Earth Prime or Earth.
No, and that's what I'm saying. Is that it's a different
Yeah.
dimension? That's what I was just saying.
That's Earth. Yeah, it's Earth 2 Kara.
Yeah, she's Kara
Yeah,
from a
it's
different
Earth.
Earth. That's exactly what I said. And you told me I was, and you
No,
tried
you
to
said
tell me I
different
was wrong.
dimension. Different dimension. You gotta be more specific. There are several different dimensions in each universe of DC.
Well, it's still a different dimension. If it's a different Earth, it's in a different dimension. That comes
No.
with the territory. You can't have
That's
two Earths
exactly
existing in the
right.
exact same dimension, in the exact same place, at the exact same time. Okay? Marvel has never actually done that. If you have two Earths, they're both in separate dimensions.
Both in separate universes. Dimensions are the layers of a universe.
It's still a separate dimension, though.
That's debatable.
A different
And by debatable,
universe
I mean
that
I've
exists
seen
within a
3-hour-long
that exists
debates
within a
between
separate dimension. It's not debatable. It's pure science.
But if it's a different dimension, then how are the other ones act? Wouldn't that make every single dimension you can go into another universe?
Yes.
Then how? But then how are they tethered? How is each dimension tethered to only one universe? Meanwhile, the multiverse is tethered between all of the universes that have each of those separate dimensions.
Infinite universe theory. There are infinite universes and dimensions within each universe.
Then how can something be in a pocket dimension connected to one universe, but yet when they go to the same version of it for a different universe, nothing's there?
Because it's a different dimension.
No, it's a different universe. It's the same dimension based on what you're saying. Because here's the thing: the dimension itself is the same. The whatever the void thing is,
Except if that were true, if both dimensions were the same, then you would have two Earths existing in the exact same location at the exact same time within the exact same universe. That is not possible.
You haven't watched The Flash, have you? Everything exists at a different quantum frequency. People who can alter their own frequency are able to go between them because they're in the exact same space overlapped.
Yeah, they're able to travel to different dimensions.
No, those dimensions are within the same quantum frequency. They're just not within the same. They're just not within each frequency. They are either a subset of a frequency or they are in between frequencies where you kind of get stuck in
the universe is the universe. Okay, here's how I'm going to explain this. The universe, think of the universe as a big plate of food. The universe as a big plate of food. Then you have another big plate of food that is almost identical, but there is one tiny difference. That is because it is a different dimension. They are still it is still two different universes, but they are also two separate dimensions. So when you travel to another universe, you are also traveling to another dimension.
It's still not entirely accurate, depending on whether you're talking about DC or Marvel. In those, dimension is considered to be
I'm talking about actual science and what science actually tells us.
That's only a theory. That is only a theory. It's not an actual proven science.
And that theory is what a lot of comic book stuff tries to replicate to varying successes. Sometimes it works, and sometimes you get a million DC reboots.
No, DC just does that because eventually the stories get so long and convoluted, any new readers are just going to be like, you know what? Nah, I'm good. I'd rather use the next 10 years of my life to do something productive. So they just reboot the series again. Although the original one was because they'd made so many alternate universes and things that they just needed to wipe the slate clean. So they took the ones that were the most popular and condensed them down onto New Earth, where you could have the same storylines.
I'm not sure I want to invite you to my next stream.
What are you doing?
I'm not sure I want to invite you to my next stream because all we've done in the last 35 minutes is me be bored while you talk about Assassin's Creed. over something that's incredibly stupid that nobody knows, over something that's incredibly stupid that there's no right answer to begin with.
Yeah, no, but it fills time whenever you're doing the side collectibles.
Except I would rather just have it be silence instead of arguing, because I don't like to argue.
Where did we even start on this tangent, though? Was that when I was talking about the House of M or whatever?
Wait a minute. If all this is fake money, does that make you guys
For the WandaVision?
I don't even remember. It wasn't that. It was a little later than that, but I don't remember exactly when it started.
I don't remember what tangent. There was like 5 tangents between then and now, and I don't remember which one started this.
Oh, it was Power Girl. We talked about Power Girl.
No, but what led to that?
Well, I told you that I didn't really read a whole lot of comics.
Yeah, okay. Alright. Wait, but you do watch all the Marvel movies, right?
Yeah, obviously.
Okay. So you know Wanda has the ability to screw with people's sense of reality in Age of Ultron?
Yeah. I also know know because I did see a few episodes of the X-Men cartoon from the 90s.
Yeah. So did you see the one where she made mutants the master race of the Earth and then realized that was a horrible plan and did it? Did you ever see that one?
I don't remember. All I know is I got a sense of how powerful she was when I saw the cartoon, and I saw all the things that she could do in both Age of Ultron and Infinity War and Endgame.
So, you know how Vision's back and everything?
Yeah, I figured that's all. I figured that's all in some kind of illusionary world she created for herself or something.
It's not illusion. She can make it reality, which is weird because her powers come from the Mind Stone, not the Reality Stone.
Well,
someone screwed up somewhere in the writing room.
Well, here's the thing: Kevin Feige, the guy in charge of everything Marvel. He straight up said at one point that he straight up said at one point that in his opinion, Scarlet Witch is the most powerful Marvel hero in existence.
Oh, that's absolutely accurate. Dude, she has the literal ability to bend the laws and continuity of reality to her will. I mean, let's remember, again, she made a universe where mutants were looked at as living gods. And even Spider-Man was treated that way until Jonah figured out his powers weren't from a mutation, it was from a spider bite. And then he was ostracized and kicked out of the elite.
I wish there was a Spidey emoji I could put at the end.
With even more reasons to hate Jonah when Scarlet Witch sent that back without having any of the memories to constitute that rage. And also Wanda...
Okay, let me ask you this question. To get the topic onto Spider-Man, because I want to talk about Spider-Man in the Spider-Man game.
Absolutely. Yep.
Has there ever been a storyline or an alternate universe dimension where Spider-Man is actually praised by Jonah? That Jonah actually looks up to and respects Spider-Man and doesn't call him a menace.
I think that's one of the few constants in the multiverse. There might be one, but I don't remember where. I know there are some moments where Jonah will show actual appreciation to Spider-Man because he realizes that if the webhead wasn't there, he would be dead or worse. But he's never stopped ragging on Spider-Man. In fact, even in the universe where Ben survived and May was the one who got shot, when Ben made Peter reveal his identity and read Jonah the Riot Act, he never stopped ragging on Spider-Man, but he used the knowledge of his secret identity to make Spider-Man do things that he wanted him to do. The only time that it's come close is during the current TV show of Marvel's Spider-Man, where Ock was the one in control of Spidey, and he was just being a ruthless fucking asshole with every villain in the city. And Jonah was like, now this is a man I can get behind.
Yeah, a lot of people like to say, "Oh, there are certain constants in Marvel."
You don't piss off Scarlet Witch. You don't piss off Wolverine. You don't piss off the Hulk. And J. Jonah Jameson is pissed at everyone.
Well, no, there have been people who pissed off There have been people who have pissed off, like, Wolverine, Scarlet Witch, the Hulk, and so forth. Man, I need to stay focused when we... okay, hold on! Ugh. Okay, from now on, when it looks like I'm about to have to do a QuickTime event, I'm gonna need you to shut up.
Okay,
because I have failed the last 5 QuickTime events because I've been arguing with you.
Okay, let me just turn back on the stream real quick. So I got my game paused, so I'm just gonna turn on the stream. Oh, where is it? It was in the top of it. Okay, drop that down. There it is. Okay. Alright, here we are. Okay.
Anyway.
That over here.
People have, like I was saying before, people have pissed off Wolverine and the Hulk and Scarlet Witch and have gotten away. They've gotten away, or they've survived it. So just saying don't piss them off, you can still piss them off and still survive.
That really depends on if the writers have plans for you.
Well, that's the thing. The fact is, it's happened before. People have survived pissing those characters off. Now, if every character who has ever pissed them off has been guaranteed to die, then yes, that would be a constant. That would be a constant. But the fact that some of them have survived just means that that's not really a constant in the game. Not really a constant in the comics. But one constant that seems to now the whole Jonah is always angry at Spider-Man. That does seem to be a constant, since I haven't heard of any kind of storyline where Jonah's actually praising Spider-Man. Peter Parker Spider-Man, I should be more specific.
Yeah, no, that never happens. Miles doesn't get too much love either from Jonah.
Oh, I imagine not. I still have yet to actually play the Miles Morales game because, well, I have the PS5 version and I pre-ordered a PS5 from the Walmart Supercenter in my town, and it came in, and I was like, "Hey, I called, and I'll be like, and I was like, "Hey, I'll be in 2 hours at max to pick it up," and they're like, "Okay, no problem, we'll hold it for you." And I get in 90 minutes later, just an hour and a half later, they sold it. And they're like, "Oh, we'll have another shipment in just 2 weeks." And I'm like, okay, and I'm like, okay, fine. Just make sure to hold it for me. Just make sure to hold it for me this time. You're like, and they're like, yeah, no, sure, no problem. And here's the thing, I paid for it already. I already paid for it when I pre-ordered it. I paid for it in full when I pre-ordered it. And so, oh, I've already done all the crimes.
So yeah, you can. I'd say you could call the HQ and just report your store for selling your pre-order whenever. Then the pre-order that they should have held
Well, yeah, I know
for
that
you
now,
because
but
you
I
pre-ordered.
didn't realize that at the time, and and at this point I've already thrown away the receipt, so I have no case. I no longer have a case. So, but anyway,
I mean, did you pre-order it online?
well, no, I pre-ordered it in the store. I pre-ordered it in the. I went into the store, paid for it with cash, and so 2 weeks later, they called me. It was in again, and I was like, okay, I'm on my way right now. I'll be there in like 15 minutes tops. And I got there, and they sold it. They sold it again.
Oh, I'm fired from Walmart. I can say, fuck those assholes.
They sold it again, and so I was like, give me my money back. You can't provide the item I paid for, then give me my money back. So I would have had my PS5 by now if they hadn't sold it twice.
Oh, did you get the money back?
Yes.
Alright.
I wasn't gonna leave there empty-handed. Either I was gonna leave with the PS5, or I was gonna leave with my money back.
I have a scintillation counter in my suit that should do it. I'll call you if I find anything.
Thanks, Spider-Man. If I can close the books on this one, I can retire in peace.
A manager did get called in to resolve the situation, and they did have me get my money back. And I haven't seen the person who was
Coming from this power box. I'm not detecting an art storage tube.
the person who was like at the electronics desk that I paid for my PS5. I haven't seen that person at Walmart since then, so they probably got fired for selling what I paid for.
Yeah, the original cat's name was Walter Hardy. I'll pull his files and have more details next time we talk.
And here's my favorite mission in the game! Woo! Well, not in the game, but in the DLC. I like the stolen art. I think it's really cool what they do with the tracking system for this mission. I really like it. I really like the whole scavenger hunt feel that this has. So.
Dang, I failed pickpocketing all three.
The original black cat, Felicia.
Hey, dude, that sucks. I actually have beaten Miles Morales twice now, once on the PS4, and then when I was finally able to get my hands on a PS5, I beat it on that because I pre-ordered the game for the PS5. Without pre-ordering a PS5.
An active shootout around Hudson and North Moore.
Isn't that area controlled by the Magi?
Yeah, so, actually, if you look on the chat thing, you'll notice that I have a different icon next to my name. That's the PS5 icon.
Oh.
I got real lucky. I got the second to last one that we got in stock that day.
Yeah, whatever Black Cat stole.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the rest of us have to wait until holiday this year.
Any other updates on the museum heist?
Yep. Because of those fucking scalpers and the 3,500 that are in their warehouse not being sold.
The Magia families are freaked out about it.
Must have been pretty valuable.
Yeah, because
Who's ready?
nobody's gonna pay $1,000 for a $500 game.
She usually flies solo.
But you know
For
what
a
we could do?
$500 console.
Figure out Felicia a long time ago.
But considering the fact that what they're doing is illegal in many states of the United States,
I guess
if they so happen to be near enough to one that we could say that we were just honestly just go to the local armory, pick up a couple of guns in case of self-defense, find their warehouse and just steal them. They were already robbing us of a chance to do anything. So, I mean,
No, let the cops
just
handle it.
hoarding
I'm not gonna dirty my hands. I'm not gonna stoop to their level. I'm taking the high ground.
Call, but there was an earlier. A criminal from the old school. And of course, like everything else these days,
anyway, I'm not going to go for that. I might offer logistical support and strategy, but I'm not actually going to go there and do it.
than J. Jonah Jameson.
If this actually happens, I am going to be very much a suspect of the FBI.
Bad example for our young ladies. The original stole.
Just for this conversation.
He didn't try to convince us he could be a good guy like this Jezebel did. Remember? She ran around playing the crime fighter until it became clear she was stealing from the very crook she arrested, which proves the point. I always think a black cat cannot change its spots. I know they don't have spots, but you get my meaning. Wait. Jared tells me black leopards do have spots. Just can't see them. I was right after all. Ha!
I really like JJ in this game, honestly. I like a lot of the rants that he goes on.
All units advised. We received a tip on a possible counterfeiting scheme. Location is Cathedral.
bags of money on a roof. Nothing sketchy going on here. Time to do the laundry, fellas.
We just went through the freaking animation of dying still, and it just looked so cheesy. It was so freaking hilarious. Like, he leaned back, was wiggling around, and snapped his own neck. Oh, time to break back into this place that I was totally legitimately in a minute ago, but I couldn't loot anything. Time to loot, boys!
I have a feeling that when I eventually get around to playing the Miles Morales game for my channel,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's not going to be very well received.
Around here.
I mean, it's a very short game.
Oh, no, it's not that. It's that I have a feeling it's not going to be well received simply because I got a few bones to pick with it. People are gonna be mad that I don't have a very good opinion on it.
Why not? Just because of how long it took you to get the PS5?
No, if that was all it was, then there's no way I'd blame the game on that. I'm not gonna blame the game for the store's inability to give me what I paid for. No, I'm judging the game solely on what it does.
On the story or on the gameplay?
I I have a couple issues with the game, with the gameplay, but most of the issues I have are story related.
Are you just going to be that one guy who's like, the Tinker's supposed to be an old man? He's not an
No,
old
I
man.
don't give a crap about that.
There have been so many
don't
people
remember
who's young
anything
now.
about the Tinker. He was such a 2-bit villain in Spider-Man comics. I don't give a crap. Like, if you want to have the Tinker be this new chick, who cares?
The only reason they did that, though, was simply because they never took the time to give Miles his own bad guys. Any bad guy that Miles had, he inherited from Peter.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I mean, his first fight was just a guy from the Ultimate Comics known as the Kangaroo, not exactly a high death-defying thing like trying to face the Goblin or Vulture on your first day.
Was it the Vulture or was it Lizard that Spider-Man fought first?
No, because
I'm trying to remember. I know that he fought both of them like super early on. Those were like two of the first super villains he ever fought. I'm trying to remember like which one came first.
Before they did it. I think they set up Connors first, so it probably would have been the Vulture then. Was his first big
so it was
gun.
Vulture and then Connors, and then I think after Connors, that's when Green Goblin started to appear.
Yeah, I still don't remember when Hobgoblin became a thing.
Roger that. I'll let you know when the building is safe.
What was the point of Hobgoblin again? I honestly can't remember.
It was a non-Osborn Goblin, I think. I know Flash.
Like all I could remember was that it was essentially a like copycat. It was a Green Goblin copycat. Like, is that all it was?
Pretty much. I mean,
it was just a Green Goblin. It was just a Green Goblin fanboy that wanted to be the Green Goblin, but wasn't.
It was actually one of Peter's other friends. In one universe, it was Flash. In another, it was Ned, which you might remember Ned from the movie.
Yeah. I didn't even know he was a comic book. I didn't know he was a comic book character.
Well, here's the thing. He disappears, like, he's not in very many of the comics, but he was the original Harry, I guess.
I'll be around if they run into any more trouble.
But yeah, but he didn't last very long in the comics. I don't remember what happened to him, and then they brought him back in Ultimate, I think, is when he became the Hobgoblin. But, yeah, so he was Peter's best friend.
Well, he didn't last very long. Does that mean he died?
No, I don't remember. I don't think he died in 616. I think what happened is they just ran out of storylines for him. I mean, he also ended up marrying Betty Brant. Or whatever the lady at the Bugle's name was.
Yeah, it was Betty Brant.
Yeah.
Didn't they change Betty to that one blonde girl that Ned had a thing with in the new Spider-Man movie?
Yeah, that was Betty.
Yeah, they de-aged her.
Well, they de-aged everyone.
Well, no, not necessarily everyone, because...
Well,
not necessarily everyone, because they... Peter was supposed to be in high school, so him being a high school student makes sense, and MJ being a high school student makes sense, and Ned being a high school student makes sense. Flash, same thing. Like, it all makes sense. Betty is the only one I can think of.
Well, here's the thing. They were all like junior or senior years, so the age difference wasn't as drastic. Did you not get the Amazing Spider-Man suit unlocked? Have you seen the Amazing Spider-Man suits available?
Yes, I've gotten every suit.
Have you tried the advanced suit yet?
Yes, I've tried every suit. I haven't shown every single suit off in this yet.
Yeah. I still don't get the point of the like Japanese looking one. That's not Spider Clan. I just really don't get the
You
point.
mean the
of
one
it.
that looks like it's a mix of a mech suit and a Power Ranger?
Yes. I don't think you could have said that any better.
Oh my god, I freaking love that suit. It looks so cool.
All units.
I mean, but I still like if it had a different shading to it, I might use it. But just the shading it has is just.
Well, it's comic book. It's a comic book shading. There's like five suits in the game that are like that, and to be honest, those are my favorite suits.
I prefer the like. Honestly, one of my favorite suits between the two games is Spider-Man. Is both Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse outfits, the one for Peter and the one for Miles. Although the better thing about the one for Miles is that in that game you have a suit mod to where it has the correct frame rate.
Yeah, I know. It's weird to look at, though. I've seen footage of it, and it's weird to. It's so wonky to look at.
It's so trippy, but at the same time, you don't want to mess with it.
Well, it's cool, but I don't know if I would keep it on, especially seeing as how in the Spider-Verse, Miles is like a lot skinnier. It is like a lot skinnier and has like a smaller head than Miles does in the in the game. So when cutscenes happen where he takes his mask off and he's wearing that suit, he looks like he has a giant head on a tiny body, and it's like, this doesn't look right. Something went wrong here. Something went wrong here. But yeah. All right.
I'm also currently now playing Spider-Man.
All right. So I'm gonna leave this. I'm gonna leave this episode here. I'm gonna be doing another stream here in just a minute, and we're gonna continue this. And I'm gonna go ahead and knock out all the crimes, all the Magia crimes. There's not much left. I mean, there's only like 11 crimes left to stop. Right? I already got all the others, right? Yeah, I did. So I'm gonna stop the last 11 crimes, and then probably go hunting for the stolen arts, and then I'll continue the story. But yeah. So, with that said, thank you everybody so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care, everyone.